Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to the 14th episode of the Sporting Updates podcast. I'm your host, as always, Sam Fonseca, and today I'm joined by my very good friend, Steph. How you doing today, Steph?
I'm doing really good. We've gotten really good results. The Portuguese Cup, we won against Famalicão 2-0, and today against Olympiacos 3-1. So we'll talk more into detail about both games. So what's up, Danny? How you doing?
I'm good, man. Feeling good. Feeling happy. Two great results back to back for Sporting. So, yeah, man, good vibes over here.
Sounds good. So why don't you tell us about the lineup from the Sporting Famalicão game?
All right. So, starting off, we had Rui Patricio in net, Fábio Coentrão, Sebastian Coates, Tobias Figueiredo, and Stefan Ristovski, Jonathan Silva, Petrovic, Bruno Cesar, Bataglia, and then up front we had Bas Dost and Paul Vince. Coming into the game was Gelson on the 12th minute because of Jonathan Silva's injury, and then Petrovic for Bruno Fernandes and Mateus for Bruno Cesar.
Okay, so what did you think about the game? Tell me a little bit of a snapshot of the game.
Well-fought game. Famalicão, for the most part, it was defense against attack, though Famalicão really went for it, from what I remember. They had this one guy, his name, funny enough, was Rui Costa, who actually was really good. I was pretty impressed with him. Held his lines up well. He was the striker for Famalicão. He held his lines up well, played with the ball well. Caused us a few problems, not going to lie. Famalicão, although, they're smaller teams from a lower division, they played well. They showed their quality in front of Sporting, but Sporting is just a bigger team. One goal came from Sebastian Coates on the corner, and then Bas Dost, I can't even remember how he scored, but it was, a comfortable win for us, 2-0.
Yeah, well, I'll put in my 2 cents. I feel the same way. Famalicão from the get-go, they were playing a low block. It's very typical of the smaller teams. It was expected by Jorge Jesus, and Sporting with so kind of a B team. It was a mix of the A squad and the B team. They were fairly okay. They were gelling, but like they were not the way it should be. But they were playing well enough to beat Famalicão. Like the player that you mentioned, Rui Costa, yeah, I was impressed by him too. He's on a loan from Portimonense, believe it or not. I have no idea why Portimonense didn't keep him. It blows my mind because he did come up with some excellent plays against Sporting, and Rui Patricio, he had to be paying attention the whole game because of him. He was on his toes, and but the victory was never in question. We played well enough to beat Famalicão. They did deserve to score at least one goal. They had 1,000 fans, believe it or not, that came from the north of Portugal. They went to Estádio José Alvalade. So that's a big thing. It was like like the train was full of Famalicão fans coming from the north. So two thumbs up to the fans of Famalicão. But they played well. It's a team that's I think they in fourth place in the second league, so they know how to play football, and they could have caused us some really big headaches because we scored minute 66 and 81, if I'm not mistaken, really late in the game, and we relied on Bruno Fernandes to change the dynamic of the game. As soon as he came into the pitch, Petrovic came out. He's not a dynamic player at all. He's more like a Bataglia. He plays number 6. He's not a playmaker. So as soon as Bruno Fernandes came into the pitch, he changed the whole game, and he was the man of the match for me for that game. And we deserved to win. And God bless Sporting. We moved on to the round of 16th, and now our next opponent. We got lucky with the draw, which was today. It's Vila Verdense. So that's an easy team, and we're playing at home. So what about you, Sam? Give me your 2 cents.
I didn't watch the game, so I'm not too sure, but obviously 2-0. And when I was on Twitter, I did see a lot of people were praising Bruno Fernandes, so it seems he had a very good game. So good win. We're going to play that team, which I can't pronounce. I'm not even going to bother because I just know I'll say it wrong. So they're in the third division, I believe. They're sitting in fourth place, so it should be an easy victory for us. Is that it for Tasta Portugal?
Well,
Yeah.
the benefit of playing Vila Verdense will give JJ another chance to give minutes to players like Gelson Dollar and maybe Yuri Medeiros. We'll get to see a few more minutes, and players that don't play, they usually don't play. It'll give them a chance to put them on the pitch again, and then players like Mature, the older players, they need some more rest. They'll be able to rest again. So that's why it's a good thing to play against a small team like Vila Verdense. Because Jorge Jesus, you could say, okay, I'm going to rest my 18 because we have another important game coming up next weekend. So that's a plus. Because Benfica and Porto will not have the same luxury. Benfica is going to Rio Ave, Vila de Conde, and Porto plays against Guimarães. So they'll have to play with the 18 to beat those two excellent teams. Rio Ave is playing good football, and Guimarães as well. So we got lucky with the draw, really lucky. So I'm going to give it back to you, Sam, and let's talk about the Champions League game.
Okay, before we get into that, we've got a few questions from Twitter, both from Bruno, actually, a friend of the show, and has his own podcast, Highly Contested. Be sure to check that out. His first question is, he says, in your guys' opinion, give me a player who needs to step their game up. And I'll give that one to Steph first.
What's the question again?
Give me a player who needs to step up their performances.
Oh, step up their performances. Oh, shoot. That's a good question. Holy shit.
You sound surprised.
Yes, I am, because... that's an easy one, actually. Doumbia. I'm not impressed with Doumbia. I think we got him expecting lots of things from him, especially speed, especially to be the first line of defense, and he hasn't done that. So Doumbia for me.
Okay, Danny, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. Doumbia. I've been complaining about Doumbia for the past few episodes that I've been on. Hasn't been good enough. Hasn't been what we expected or what we've wanted from him. So, yeah, him for sure. And even Alan Ruiz to step up and start being the player he was at least at the end of the second half of last season.
I was going to go with Doumbia too, but since you both went with him, I'm going to change my answer a bit. And it's not that he's been not playing well recently, but in general for this season, I think he's been playing really poor. And that's Gelson. And he has stepped it up a few games, but he just needs to continue it and needs to stop being complacent. The last few games in the Champions League, he's been fantastic. So as long as he can keep that up, he should be fine. But in the terms of the whole season, yeah, I'm going to go with Gelson. Next question is again from Bruno, and he says, do you guys think JJ is taking away what Sporting is known for? And what I mean by that is that our academy and not bringing in more youth, instead we loan them out. Danny, what do you think?
I don't know. That's tough still to say, because we still have so many academy players still playing. We have the likes of, and like of Rui Patricio and William and Gelson. And don't forget that Jorge Jesus was the one that really gave Gelson the opportunity to shine. That's tough too, because our academy players kind of become our star players as well. Like look at William, for example, again, or Rui, or Adrian, even João Mario, even Daniel Podensi still playing. João Pelinha comes on, but he's clearly not good enough to start. So I disagree with that a little bit. What I do think he's also changing the dynamic of it. We're going with more, South American players as well. We're going with more experienced players like in Mateu, but that also brings an advantage to it of itself. Players with different qualities. We're not, getting Char and Bularuz anymore. We're getting, Mateus and Bataglia, so it's a different quality that we're getting, which is good, which is helping Sporting as evidence. But he's changing a little bit for sure, and sometimes it could be negative. But for the most part, it's been positive changes that he's bringing, in my opinion, at least.
Fair enough. Steph, do you agree?
Yeah, basically. I mean, if you look at today's lineup, we had Rui Patricio, which is from the academy. We had William Carvalho, he's from the academy. Gerson Martins is from the academy. And then on the bench you had Tobias, he's from the academy, João Pelinha, and Podense. So that's a lot of players from the academy. We loaned a few players, but the big names that I think Bruno is talking about, we know Bruno quite well by now. He's talking about Duarte, the center back. He's talking about Mateus, the winger, and he's talking about Chic Geralds, the one who was loaned to Rio Ave. Out of those three, I would have liked to keep Chic Geralds. Because he's saying that he needs a clone of Bruno Fernandes. If you want a clone of Bruno Fernandes, you already have it. It's Chic Geralds. Now, yeah, you as a coach, you have to develop that player. So if he doesn't think he's ready to go yet, might as well just let him stay at Rio Ave so he can develop. But me personally, I like Chic Geralds. I've seen him play quite a few times, and he certainly can do the same as Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes, I think he's a step above him. He's more mature because he did play in Italy and he got more experience in Sampdoria. The Italian league, it's not easy to play. So he's got a leg up on Chic Geralds. But that's the only questionable loaners that we've had. I mean, I don't think Bruno was talking about Jefferson of Braga. I don't think so. But besides that, that's it. I agree with Denny. It's a good mix of experience and youth. You can't have 11 players from the academy. Then we're not going to be fighting for the title at all. You need this kind of experience from a mature, even Andre Pinto, that everyone now is falling in love with today, and another outstanding performance. Fabio Coentrão, Battaglia, Bruno Cesar stepping up for Cunha, Bas Dost. You need that kind of experience with the youth. So we have a good combination of our academy and good athletes that we acquired from different teams with lots of experience. So I'm content with what we have, and I'm content with JJ as well. I don't think he's burning any of our youth. If he loans them like Jason Dalla, he should have been loaned. He's being, I don't know why he's riding the bench. It's a waste of talent. So I like when he's loaned to the B team because then he gets to play. But besides that, I'm content with JJ.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. I don't think there's much point in keeping a player like Geralds or Duarte if they're not going to play. They need to get more development, more experience, and you don't get by that by sitting on the bench or the reserves. So for me, like I said, if he's just going to play Acuna and Bruno Cesar in two very good players this season, even though we've said our things about Bruno Cesar, but he's stepped up this season, and even players like Yuri, it could be argued that we should have loaned him out again to get more experience because look where he is now. He's just in the reserves rotting. So what's the point in keeping players that aren't going to play? They might be academy players, but if they're going to play 5 minutes, the last 5 minutes of each game, instead of getting actual game time, 90 minutes per game at like Rio Ave or Shafts, that I think it's good that JJ loaned them out and not letting them rot on the bench. Before we get into the Juventus game, there's just true or false questions. If you haven't listened before, I just simply ask Steph and Danny true or false statements or questions. They'll give me a true or false answer and explain why. Play along on Twitter and I'll be sure to read out your answers. The first one goes to Steph, and this about Brian Ruiz being in the news recently. JJ calling him back into the fold. And the question is, or the statement rather, is Brian Ruiz can have a positive impact on Sporting season.
True.
Why?
Oh, you want to why? Okay. No, because as you see now, Acuna got hurt, and then the only one we had was Bruno Cesar. But let's say if Jonathan Silva is hurt, he's gone for 3 months. So let's say if Fabio Coentrão gets hurt, Bruno Cesar has to drop to the left wing. So now who do we have left? We have to
Yuri,
improvise.
Probably.
Yeah, there it is. But he doesn't trust Yuri.
Mm-hmm.
So Brian Ruiz is playing great football. He's hungry because you could see in the national team with Costa Rica, he was playing like a monster. And he has a point to prove to all of us Portuguese. He wants to show everyone that, hey, I still know how to play football. Now you guys pissed me off, so I want to show you guys I still got it. So we only have to benefit by regaining Brian Ruiz and to play him on the pitch again, especially to give Acuna a little bit more rest, because you cannot have the same player have 90 minutes at each game all the time. They will break, and that's what happened to Acuna, and all the other 6. I don't feel like saying all the 6, but players will break. It's not playing 2 games of high intensity every week. It's a lot. It's a lot. Even Madrid and Barcelona, Bayern Munich, they rotate their teams. So we only have to gain by having Brian Ruiz back.
Just a quick question from that as well. Do you think Brian Ruiz was treated unfairly?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. Danny, the next true or false statement is for you, and it's Bruno Cesar has earned a first team start.
As of right now, true. This is our strongest lineup with Acuna out. And Bruno Cesar, as he did today, as he's done the past few games, has been playing terrific. He's been playing well. He's been banging in the goals for us. So yeah, true. I would give him the start at least for now. So long as Acuna is out, in my eyes, he's ahead of Province just a bit.
Fair enough. And the last true or false statement is for both of you. This one is a question, and I'll give this one to Danny first. And the question is: do Sporting have a real shot of winning? Statement. Let me get that right. Statement. Sporting have a real shot of winning the Europa League. True or false?
True. Fucking, I'm biased. We have a good team as we so ahead of 2 of probably Europe's biggest teams, or one of their biggest teams. We have a good enough squad to compete with them. We have a good enough squad to beat them. We just have been unlucky, and we've sometimes been our worst enemies, especially in the Barcelona game. So we have a good shot of winning the Europa League, sure. We have to get lucky on the draws, not get a giant right away like we have been the last few years that we were in it. Like we got Wolfsburg, and then I think we got Dortmund the year before. So with a little help from the draw, I think we can make a big dent and probably even win it. Who knows?
Steph, true or false?
Yeah, true. Of course. I feel the same way, but I haven't given up in going beyond the group stage of the Champions League. With a little bit of luck, we might pull it off. I know it's going to be extremely hard to win against Barcelona in Camp Nou, but I don't think Barcelona will play with the A team. I'm not saying that's what I'm hoping for, but actually that's what I'm hoping for. That they don't play with the A team, they play with the B team because they already won the group. They will finish first, and but I just don't trust the Greeks. I don't think Olympiacos will. I don't know. I hope they'll play at 100% against Juventus. And if Juventus ties, and if we win in Barcelona, because now it's Barcelona's as 11 points, Juventus as 8, and we have 7. So let's say if we win against Barcelona, we'll finish with 10. Barcelona will finish first with 11, and then Juventus, if they tie, worst case scenario, they'll finish with 9. But if they win, they will finish with 11. So I don't know. I'm optimistic. I think the Greeks, they'll do us a favor and they'll tie at least with the Italians, and we'll still have to do our part and win in Barcelona. And we have the capability and the motivation to do it. But if we do go to Liga Europa, that's guaranteed as of today, we're going to Liga Europa. That's a guaranteed thing. I agree with Danny. We have a shot to win the title. But we have to be smart, like we were with Juventus and Barcelona. We have to tell ourselves, hey, against big teams, we do have to play lower block and play counterattack, and I think we'll go far, indeed.
The only problem I have with the saying true to that is if you look at the teams in the Europa League and some of the teams going into the Europa League from the Champions League. So at the moment, you can say Arsenal, there's Napoli, Dortmund could be in there if they fail to beat Real Madrid. Oh no, I think they're already in there because
they only have 2 points.
Oh yeah, so Dortmund have to beat the other team which is in their group, which I actually can't remember.
Leipzig, Athletic Madrid, Nápoles.
Exactly. Just look at those teams.
Yeah,
if we get those off the bat.
Yeah. No, we're not going to get those because.
True. True.
Not from the get-go, but eventually, yes.
We could get an Arsenal to start off with.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, they're still good. Yeah.
I'm not familiar with the Europa League, but I'm not sure if there are any other great teams in there. I know AC Milan. I'm not sure if they got very far in their group, but I know they were in there. So Yeah, I would like to say true, but when you look at some of the teams in there, it's a bit hard to. So at the moment,
Yeah,
I'll go with false.
yeah. They do have some great teams. You're right. They have Everton, they have Lyon, they have Villarreal, they have Real Sociedad. They have some pretty Marseille. They have some amazing teams. Partizan, Vitesse, Atlanta. Yeah, so they do have some good teams still. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, that brings us on to the Olympiacos game, which finished 3-1. Goals from Bruno Cesar and Bas Dost. Lineup was as followed: Patricio in goal, Piccini, Jeremy Mateu, Andre Pinto, Fabio Coentrao, Rodrigo Battaglia, William Carvalho, Bruno Fernandes, Bruno Cesar, Gelson Martins, and Bas Dost. Tobias came in for Mateu and Ristovski came in for Piccini. Steph, what did you think of the game today?
Well, today I was actually expecting Sporting to win the game, just because I saw the game away in Greece against Olympiacos when we won 3-2. It was 3-0 until the end, and then those two shitty goals they scored towards the end by Braga, the ex-player from Braga. So I knew we had the quality, the capability, and the good enough team, and our coaching staff was prepared to win against Olympiacos. And the first 20 minutes, I was kind of on my toes. I was not still sitting down watching the game. I was standing up, just because Olympiacos was playing quite well, like it was expected. They needed to win this game to even make it to Liga Europa. So they came playing with the lower block, and with the two very fast wingers. They had Pardo and Fortogini and Carcella, and the ex-Benfiquista player. Um, and they were quite fast in the counterattack. They kind of scared me a little bit at the beginning. But then we got the two late goals from we got the goal from Bas Dost at minute 40 and Brun Cesar at minute 43. And then that was actually the perfect timing to score those two amazing goals. And then it was halftime. It was JJ. I'm pretty sure at halftime he had time to talk to his team and tell them, hey, just relax. We have Pass Fridays next weekend. So let's just control the game, pass the ball to each other. And that's what they did. They controlled the second half. It was nice and peaceful. I was actually, just enjoying the game. And then we got a third goal at minute 66. And the late goal at the 86th minute against us by the Greeks. It was not actually a big deal. It was a good play by them. The one by Badish, he scored in minute 86. But other than that, we controlled the game the whole time, and I felt really good. I like the German referee. He did Felix Swayer. He did pretty good. The fans were amazing, supporting the team the whole time. I love that about our fans. From the beginning until the end, they were supporting the team, and great victory. We locked up the Liga Europa, another 1.5 million our bank. So it's only good things, and we helped the Portuguese ranking, which is extremely important. Porto also tied 1-1. Benfica lost today. That's actually bad for the Portuguese ranking, because we needed everyone to help with that, because one of these days we'll drop to number 7, and Russia, Ukraine will go above us, which is not good. But the game itself, yeah, we deserve to win. Very happy, very content. And I just hope a little bit of magic against Barcelona, and I hope Juventus ties at least in the Olympiacos.
Fair enough. Danny, what did you think of the game?
Yeah, same as Steph. Comfortable game. To be honest, we could have won more than 3-1. It could have been at least 4-5. Their one goal was pretty questionable too, as Seba was in an offside position by the time Odidja Oefi. Did you guys see the guy's name that scored against us? Crazy name. Anyways, Seba, he was offside. Patricio complained about it. I'm pretty sure the other linesman mentioned that to the ref, but the ref gave it to them. Whatever, no big deal. Steph said he liked the ref. I wasn't a big fan of his. Maybe I just have something against referees, but I don't know. He gave William a stupid yellow. He didn't give them too many yellows. But anyways, aside from that, the game was good. We were controlling it comfortably. They didn't necessarily have too many shots. The only other shot besides their goal was a deflection off Gelson that Rui Patricio handled easily. And there was a few chances that even André Pinto could have scored today. At least two. There was another one where he was at the edge of the box begging Bruno Fernandes to pass it to him, which showed how bad he wanted to score today. And but yeah, the team played well, and another comfortable win against Olympiacos.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. A great win, fantastic performance from everyone. I'd say there wasn't one player that I was really disappointed in. Maybe Tobias, actually, when he came off bench. I thought it was a bit poor, but anyway, we'll get into that later on. But I agree with Danny about the referee. I feel like he was a bit yellow card happy to us and not to Olympiacos. But other than that, I on the offside, which should have been. But other than that, he was okay. I wouldn't say he was decent. I wouldn't say he was anything better than okay. He wasn't awful as well. We've had much worse referees in the Champions League, so not much to complain about there. Two great build-up goals. One from Pacini to Gelson and Gelson to Dost. I thought Pacini today was absolutely fantastic. One of probably his best performance ever in the green and white. And that as well, Bruno Cesar, fantastic performance too.
Mm-hmm.
Get him a goal. He is the player of the Champions League for us. Each year, last year he scored against Dortmund and Madrid. This year he scored against Juventus and Olympiacos for us. So he just needs to play more in the Champions League, and we should win or at least score in every single game. If only it was like that for the league. But Bruno Cesar has been quality these last few games. I really hope he does get more of a chance now that Acuna's injured. Other than that, though, everyone was solid. Defense was solid, even without the Postron there. Mateo coming back off injury as well. It didn't miss a beat. Was taken off just to rest him a bit, which I think was a very good idea because I don't think Olympiacos had bar the goal had that many attacks. So for me, great performance, great win. Like Steph said, I hope Juventus slip up against Olympiacos, but I doubt it considering Olympiacos have nothing to play for. They should just open up like a puth on a Tuesday. So yeah, other than that, hopefully we get far, but if not, Europa League is still good. We still get money for going to the Europa League. So yeah, that's all I have to say for the game. We'll go on to the player ratings now. Start off with Steph. What would you rate Rui Patricio out of 10 in this game?
Okay, so really fast, because you guys were complaining about the yellow cards. We got 4 yellow cards and they got 3 yellow cards. So,
but how many yellow cards did they get in the last few minutes though? Because I think he gave 2 in like plus 85.
I'll have to look at the well.
He gave one on the 92nd minute.
To
Pardo.
Fábio Coentrão, 88 minute. Gelson Martins, 81st minute. André Pinto, 64th minute. Cotrici, I'm sorry, Greeks, 55th minute. And then Diogo Figueiredo, which plays for Olympiacos, he's Portuguese, the 33rd minute. And then Williams, which that one was a bullshit one because he slipped. Minute number 9. That was the only yellow card. I was like, what the hell is that? That's it. That was interesting, the stats. But
just to interrupt, should have got a yellow card so much earlier. Him and Coentrão, I'd say as well. They were going at it for the whole game. Every time there's a foul, it was one of them two. So yeah,
interesting. Yeah, so Rui Patricio, I'm going to give him a solid 8. He was a leader once again. He just gives the defense so much confidence that when you have a goalie like that, basically it's going to be a good day. And he didn't have much to do, but when he was called upon to save the day, he did. So again, at 8 to Rui Patricio.
Daniel, what do you think of Rui Patricio's game out of 10?
Yeah, I agree. He gets an 8. Played well. He only had really one shot that he necessarily had to save. Other than that, he was kind of untested, and solid game for Rui Patricio. 8.
Yeah, I'll agree as well. He gets an 8. Didn't have much to do, but when he was called upon, he did well, just like we expected from him. So yeah, an 8 from Patricio. Uh, I'll start our next one off. Cristiano Pacini. For me, he gets a 9. I thought he was absolutely fantastic in this game. You could arguably say he's the best defender on the pitch. Always getting up and down the flank, always dribbling so well, which I think he's must have worked on in training. Because at the start he was used to go backwards, but now he's going forwards, take players on. His confidence has just absolutely shot up. I think since mid-October, he's just been fantastic. So yeah, Pacini gets a 9. Danny, what would you rate Pacini in this game?
Yeah, to me, he gets a 10. Perfect game from Pacini today. I didn't see him put a foot wrong. I didn't see him put a pass wrong. Yeah, solid game today. That first Bastos goal was basically all because of Pacini. Took on two men, passed them, then passed it to Gelson. Probably, if I don't know if it's his best, but it probably is up there on one of his best games for Sporting. And again, proving that what we've been saying for a few weeks now, that Jorge Jesus has a pretty big headache when it comes to the right back spot because he has Pacini and Ristovski. So, yeah, 10 out of 10 for me.
Steph, what would you give Pacini out of 10?
I'm going to give him a 9 as well. He was solid. I was actually watching the game on Sport TV and listening to the Portuguese commentators, and what they were saying is the way he goes about when he basically commits to going forward, he does it in a timely manner, in such a way that he times it to perfection. He knows he has to get back to defense, so and that's what JJ wants. He wants his right back and left back to commit to offensively, but in a way that they know they can get back to save the day. And he's got that. Now he's a more complete player. He was missing that portion of what JJ wanted from him. So he's a good defender, and now he's playing great offensively, and he knows how to cross the ball, and he's gelling with finally with Justin Martins. They both fully understand each other, and I saw at some points of the game when Piccini got stuck in the offensive mode, then Justin Martins compensated for him. So they communicated with each other. The chemistry is great. So I'm liking what I see from Piccini. And to answer Denny about JJ having a headache with him and Stefan, at least JJ now is being smart about it. He put Stefan right away into the pitch because he saw Piccini was running out of gas. And that's the way he's got to do it. So now he knows he has two good right fullbacks. Use them. Don't wait until somebody gets hurt. So JJ, I could see now he's being smart about it.
Fair enough. Danny, what would you rate Andre Pinto out of 10 today?
Man, another 10. I'm feeling generous today. I'm feeling happy. I'm in a good mood. He played solid today. Listen, man.
It's
was
Christmas.
Solid. It's Christmas. I'm handing everybody out 10, so this is gonna be a short episode. He was good, man. He could have had 2 goals today. He was pushing offensively. Defensively, he was sound. No mistakes. Passing the ball well with Mateo, Pacini, and Coentrão, like they've been playing for years together. Nothing really got by him. There was no real threat in the box, and that's because of him and his partner, Mateo. Solid, man. I can't think of a mistake that he did. Like, he gets a 10 from me, man.
Fair enough. Steph, what would you give Andre Pinto out of 10?
Andre Pinto, I'm going to give him a 9. I'm saving my 10 for somebody else. But, strong performance. But I've known about Andre Pinto for a long time. I know most people it's like a surprise. Maybe not for Portuguese from Portugal because, they live in Portugal. They get to see more TV as far as the Portuguese league. We're kind of limited here in the U.S. and Canada and the U.K. We get to see what we get to see that one game, and after that, that's it. here we depend on the Spanish channel, Gold TV. So after the game, that's it. There's no more Portuguese news. But anyway, so this guy's a phenomenal player, and he just showed JJ and all the Portuguese that you can count on me. I'm here to play. So if Macho is hurt, if Coates is hurt, or in this case he had 3 yellow cards, you can play me, you can trust me, and that's it. Now JJ, he has that comfort zone of, you know what, I can do a good rotation between these 3 guys. And why not? He doesn't have to play Coates and Macho all the time. He can rotate them among them 3. Because I'm pretty sure you guys agree with me. Andre Pinto has been amazing. Am I right?
Yeah.
100%. Also, I kind of wanted to mention this, but I completely forgot when I was saying this. Andre Pinto is making a solid case on being one of the center backs that Fernando Santos brings to the World Cup. I mean, if Fernando Santos, for example, I don't rate Neto at all, but he also brought in Ricardo Ferreira, who, though I rate, and he was, fun fact, born in Canada, in Mississauga, just 20 minutes from Toronto, fun fact. I think Andre Pinto is better, and as we've seen on their time together in Braga, Pinto was there with him, and Pinto was the captain ahead of him. So Pinto, if he continues like this, could be on his way to a World Cup to Russia with Portugal.
I agree with you, and I've said that, and you guys called me crazy last time, but anyway.
I don't know.
I did.
No, I don't recall.
Danny,
I know I did too. I'm trying to deflect right now.
You didn't call me crazy. You called me Maluku. Maluku.
Yeah, for sure. But I'm glad I'm wrong, man.
Yeah, I know you were wrong all along. Anyway, go ahead, Sam.
I was just going to say, it's Thanksgiving for you guys tomorrow. Or do they celebrate in Canada as well? Or is it just America?
Just America. We celebrated it in October.
Okay.
Yeah, they have a different date, yeah.
I was going to say, Danny was being very generous with his Thanksgiving ratings, but, it doesn't really work now because they don't celebrate in Canada. But anyway.
I think I'm in the American time zone or something, maybe. I don't
know. I'll give Andre Pinto an 8. I want to go for us to give him a 10 because 10 is, for me, will be the man of the match, I'll say in a bit. But I do feel he's very solid. The only problem with him I have, he's a bit too slow, but that's not obviously his fault. People just have different speeds. But I would like to see him work on his speed a bit more because sometimes he's a bit late to get to the tackle or the loose ball. So, yeah, Pinto gets an 8 from me. Steph, I'll give you your favourite player to start off with, and that's Jeremy Mateu. What would you rate him out of 10?
I'm going to give him a 9, and he's a world-class player. What can I say about my man, Sebastian Mathieu? He's you never see him making a bad pass. Every time I saw like Sporting stalling, he always found like somebody in the middle of the pitch, the midfield, and it was always an impeccable pass. That man, he knows how to play defense, and he knows how to start, the link the midfield with the offense, or the defense with the midfield. Just an amazing player overall. I don't know how we got so lucky to get him. And he did an interview on Sporting TV, and he basically said, if you guys want me to stay, I'm willing to finish my career at Sporting. I could do a couple more years. So, and Sporting, I believe they already begun the negotiation to extend his contract for another year. So, which I think it's wise because the amount of experience he brings, and you've seen it today, and you've seen it against Juventus and Barcelona. It's just amazing because he's used to play at that stage, at the Champions League stage. So even if he doesn't play every game, he'll transmit that kind of experience to the youth, our youth. He'll talk to them. He'll show you, those malicious tricks that they need to learn when they train, when they practice together every day. So we only have to gain by renewing the contract with the Mathieu. I really hope so. And I think Bruno Carvalho and JJ want the same thing, so which is great. So I'll give him a 9. And he's just a world-class player. I love to see him play because he never complicate things. He makes things very simple. And he's a great center back.
Yeah. Danny, what would you give Matteo out of 10?
I'm handing out tens like it's Christmas, so he gets a 10 from me too. He was another solid game from him. Honestly, he might be up there with my man of the match because he was sound. There was a few times where Cointreau was a little too high up the pitch, and he just filled in that left back spot like it was nothing. He nullified many attacks from Olympiacos, and yeah, like Steph said, man, he's been a solid purchase for us. I was one of the critics of that purchase. I thought he was washed up. He was too old for us. He wasn't good enough anymore because of some of his performances at Barcelona, but that's not the case. He's been solid, and today was another example. He could have scored another free kick. It was just slightly over the bar, but I don't take that away from him. He gets a 10 for me, man. It's a solid performance again.
Yeah, I'm going to give him a 9. I feel like he was very good today, and he's been good all season. Like Steph said, it's amazing how he got a player of his caliber to come here. Former Barcelona player. Like Danny said as well. Obviously, didn't play that well. Otherwise, he probably still would have been there. But what's the saying? Another man's trash is another man's treasure. So yeah, Matei was definitely a treasure to us. Fantastic player, and he has been all season. So yeah, he gets a 9 from me. Next player, Fabio Coentrao. Danny, what would you give Fabio Coentrao out of 10 today?
I'll give him a 9, no, an 8, just to be funny. He had a decent game. He battled well with Pardo, which is always a hard battle because Pardo is strong and pacey. But he handled him well. Pardo, whatever. He had a decent game, but it wasn't any better because of Cointreau. He did his job well. Cointreau showed his class all season, so that's not a surprise from us. I can't really think of any highlights from him today, but I can't think of also any fuck ups from him either. So, which is always a good sign. So, I'll give him an 8.
Steph, what would you give Coentrao out of 10?
I'm going to give him an 8 as well, and it's not. How can I explain this? You can tell that he misses Acuna. Without Acuna, it's kind of not the same player. Acuna helps him a lot more than Bruno Cesar did on this game, even knowing that Bruno Cesar had an amazing game. I mean, I'm not discounting anything from Bruno Cesar, but them two, their lack of chemistry, they were not gelling at all. They were okay, but that's why I think his performance kind of dropped a little bit because he misses Acuna. And one-on-one against Pardo, I was like, oh my God, Pardo's so fast, he's going to get him. So I was a little bit concerned. But, he kind of managed to get him under control, exception for the last play when he crossed into on top of the box, and then they had that goal. But that was the only. No, he had a couple plays that he should have stopped the cross, and he didn't. And because the commentators kept to say, "Oh, you can let him cross," and then he did let him cross. So I don't know. I think. Well, I do know he missed Acuna. That's why his performance wasn't as consistent as the other ones. Because it's a huge difference when you play with someone that you used to, and now you throw another person that has a completely different style of play. So, but besides that, an 8, and he finished the game again 90 minutes. So that's the plus for me. 2 games in a row playing 90 minutes. That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm going to give him a 9. I felt like he actually played very well today. There was one chance I remember he had a shot on the edge of the box and he took a deflection, and then the keeper for Olympiacos got another save. But without that save, that was going in. But I feel like he was played fantastic today. Didn't really see him put a foot wrong. Maybe some of the crosses, like Steph said, he could have stopped earlier. But in addition to that, he didn't stop running for 90 minutes. He gave it his all, which we haven't seen. I don't think we've seen that from Coentrao this season. He didn't look that tired. Obviously every player's going to be tired if you're playing 90 minutes, but he just kept running, never gave up, and was aggressive towards Olympiacos, which is always good to see as well. So yeah, I'm going to give Fabio Coentrao a 9. Next player is Battaglia, and I'll start this one off. I'm going to give him a 9 as well. A fantastic game from him. He's fantastic in the Champions League, and he's just fantastic in the league. like we say before, he's one of those guys you don't really notice do a lot. But then you look at the stats, you look at the possession, you look at the passes, and what a fantastic signing he's been. And just for us, I feel there's not much we could have. We don't miss Adrian because of Battaglia. He's been fantastic. So yeah, Rodrigo Battaglia gets a 9. Steph, what would you give Battaglia out of 10?
Yeah, the same thing, a 9. But don't forget that today Bataglia was playing as number 6. Usually, number 6 it's William.
Hmm.
William kind of stepped up and he played on number 8. Basically, the reason, the logic behind it, so Bruno Fernandes could play number 9 together with Bastos. But yeah, you're correct. You haven't heard anybody talk about Adrian Silva. Uh, he's been gone for a few months, and not even one soul talks about him. I mean, if we do talk about Adrian Silva, it's only going to be good things anyway, of course, because he was a good player, excellent professional, Sportingista. He has admitted himself. So of course we're always going to miss him. But yeah, Battaglia, together with William Carvalho, they made us forget about Adrian Silva. So he gets a 9, very consistent. He does everything that all the other players don't like to do. He's always playing an impeccable defense. Uh, all the dirty work, sleeves up. That's Battaglia. He does all the shitty work that nobody wants to do. All the tedious things in the midfield. You need a guy like that, and that's Battaglia. So he gets a 9 for me.
Danny, what would you give Battaglia out of 10?
Yeah, I agree. He gets a 9 as well. He's solid defensively. Pushed the team forward when he would win the ball back. He didn't really misplace many balls. He didn't miss tackle. Great game from him again. He's been a great midfielder. I've been saying he's probably the best midfielder we bought this year. Probably our best signing of this year. Another solid performance. So he gets a 9.
Steph, what would you rate William Carvalho out of 10?
He's going to get a 9 too, because so for some reason at the beginning he was struggling a bit, and I think it was a lack of support from his teammates when Olympiacos was pressuring at the beginning. But like the first 20-25 minutes, Olympiacos, they populated the midfield quite a lot, and then he kind of struggled a little bit. He missed a few passes, which kind of concerned me quite a bit. But then he redeemed himself and he kept his composure. And then he was back in being, the very important midfielder that we all know he is for Sporting. And then after that, it was very consistent. So he gets a 9 because you can see the big difference with Williams and without Williams. We saw it on the game against. I know it was just Famalicão, but Famalicão, it's a good team in the second division. They're in 4th place, and without him, we didn't have a playmaker. We trying to rest Bruno Fernandes, but then Bruno Fernandes had to come into the pitch and then beat the playmaker to completely change the game against Famalicão, which we won 2-0. But yeah, so William Carvalho is a world-class player as well. I think we'll be able to keep him until the World Cup, but after that, I think he'll be sold this time. But we're lucky to have a player like him. So a 9, very consistent today, and he's our playmaker. He's the brains of our midfield. So that's it.
Danny, what would you give William out of 10?
To me, he's probably going to be the lowest rating. He's going to be an 8. He was probably our worst player, but not because of he had a terrible game by any means. But I think it was more on the merit of how well his teammates played. As Steph mentioned, he misplaced passes in the beginning, and he struggled quite a bit in the beginning, which is a cause for concern a bit because if you notice, most attacks that we would start, it would be William being in the middle of Pinto and Mateo and sort of being like a quarterback pushing the play through, you know what I mean, and passing the ball forward and all of that, which he wasn't doing too well in the first half. But with that, he was also defending very well. So it wasn't his best game for sure, but again, compared to his other teammates, he was probably the worst out of them, but nowhere near as bad as Jonathan Silva or anything like that's ever been. So World-class player. I'm scared to see what happens this summer, but you know, we're lucky to have Sir William Carvalho with us. But today he gets an 8.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree and give him an 8 as well. Like you said, he didn't play bad, but he just wasn't the same. I guess the same William we've known. But that being said, I did feel like he played good still, but not good enough to get above a 9. So yeah, it's a 9 for William for me as well. The next player is Bruno Fernandes, and I'll start this one off because Bruno Fernandes was actually my lowest rated player at 7. I feel like he just what annoys me about him is the shots he takes from so far out. I'm not sure if you remember, he took one off a free kick that went out for a throw in, which just annoys me. I know he can score those, but if you're taking 4 of those shots and all 4 of them go wide, what's the point? Why are you just giving up position for no reason? There are better options around him to pass or to keep on the dribble, but he shoots for no reason. His crosses today were poor as well, I thought. And I think he probably needs to step it up in the next game. So yeah, Bruno Fernandes gets a 7 from me. Danny, what would you give Bruno Fernandes?
That's a fair point. I actually forgot that Bruno Fernandes didn't play that well either. I'll give him also an 8 like William, just because he did get an assist, so that should count for something. But he also did have a poor game by everybody else's standards, by his own standards. Like you said, misplaced crosses. He shot for no reason at times. There was one time in the first half where I think he could have shot better, but maybe he hesitated, maybe he second-guessed himself or was looking for the pass. Yeah, today wasn't one of his greatest games. But yeah, I'll give him also an 8. And he's probably in the same category with William on being probably our worst players, but it wasn't that big of a deal when your worst players get an 8. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Steph, what would you give Bruno Fernandes out of 10?
Well, yeah, also the same. An 8. He started slow, a little bit sloppy, and then towards the as the game went along, he was getting better and better. I think at one point, one of the players was hurt, and JJ called him on the side and was talking to him, and that little conversation kind of clicked everything to a couple notches up. And then after that, you know, he's the one who basically he kicked the corner kick to Bas Dost when he scored the goal. Let's not forget that he assisted the Bas Dost. So I agree with you, though. I mean, he has to take those shots. I mean, once in a while he does have to take it, but he has to see who's around him, who's surrounding him. If he sees that someone is in a better position to score a goal, he should release the ball to that person. So I agree with you guys on that. But I'm going to give him an 8. And that's it, yeah, an 8.
Fair enough. Danny, what would you rate Bruno Cesar's game out of 10 today?
The most underappreciated man in world football, I feel. Bruno Cesar gets a 10 out of 10 for me. Solid game. I'm handing out 10s again like it's Christmas, and he gets one too. His goal, I don't know, man. I love this goal. It showed Raça. You know, he took that space and he decided to take a shot, deflected off the defender, still pressed the other defender to get the ball back, won it back, took the shot, goal. You know, those are the type of plays that you love to see. Those are the type of players that you love to see. Just workhorse, and he worked hard. And I feel like he knows he has a chip on his shoulder. And, you know, every game he tries to at least show it, especially this season. This season he hasn't put a foot wrong, in my opinion. And, another goal in Champions League. I think the Champions League should change their name to the Bruno Cesar League because he runs the show. He runs this shit. This is his 3rd goal, I believe, in the Champions League, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
One more than Miles Sivlar. So you know, he's doing good. He's not doing as good as that kid, but he's still doing good with 3 goals. Yeah, no, 10 out of 10 for me, man. I love this guy.
Steph, what would you give Bruno Cesar out of 10?
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely give him also a higher rating. I'm gonna give him a 9. Like Denny said, Raça. I mean, that second goal, it just shows that, you know, he has a point to prove to everybody that he's been so criticized by every Sportingista, you know, including, of course, myself. I've said, you know, horrendous things about him, But when we need him the most, here he is. He's proving to all of us he's got the experience. He knows how to play football. He's limited. He doesn't have as many skills as let's say Bruno Fernandes or Williams, but he's got the heart. He never gives up on every single play. And today's performance was top notch. And he's stepping up to the plate when Acuna is hurt, and when we need him the most, he's actually delivering. He just needs a little bit of better communication and chemistry with Fabio Coentrão. And then basically that's it. On the left wing, when Acuna is hurt, I feel pretty much comfortable having Bruno Cesar on the pitch.
Fair enough. I am gonna give. I'm gonna give him a 9. I think I might give him a 10, but I'll save that for my man of the match. Again, like Steph said, he's proved me wrong. I said some horrible things about him too, but fantastic player this year. I hope he continues it as well. There's not much to say about him. When he first came and he scored 2 on his debut, I believe. I was like, oh, this guy's fantastic. And then he sort of fell off from that point. But now the Bruno Cesar I saw in his debut for Sporting is back. And, he looks hungry. He looks fierce. He looks motivated, which I think is the key thing. So, yeah, Bruno Cesar gets a 9 and hopefully can continue this form as well. Next player, Steph, Gelson Martins. What would you rate him out of 10 today?
I'm going to give him a 9 as well. I mean, he gave the assist to Bastos for the first goal, which brought us a tranquility that we needed. And playing defensively with Piccini, they really, really have a good chemistry. They really understand each other quite well. And it's just a joy to watch those two players play together in the right wing. There's something that we have forgotten, me, you, Sam, and Denny, because we've been hard on Gelson Martins. But Gelson Martins, before JJ came to Sporting, he basically, his sole mission was to play winger. But with JJ, it's different. He has to play winger, and he has to drop back and play defense. And that takes a lot of him, out of him. But at the same time, he's a more complete player because in today's football, that's the way coaches want to see you play. If you're a winger, you have to play defense too. There's no such thing as Quaresma. He only plays winger. He hardly plays defense. I don't know if you see Quaresma when he plays at Besiktas, but he doesn't do as much as Gelson Martins. So to his defense, I'm giving him a 9 because defensive-wise, he's become a really, really good player, and that takes away from him to play as a winger as well. So he gets a 9 for me.
Danny, what would you give Gelson out of 10? Yeah, I also give him a 9. I was about to say everything that Steph said. He's we've been tough on him, but he has stepped up, and 2, Steph, you have a point. He has to also drop back, and he's been doing that these past few games, especially today. You noticed how well he was defending. I think I seen a tweet earlier saying how Gelson's been playing probably better defensively than he has offensively, and I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing for a winger his size to be playing that well defensively. To me, is fantastic. Another thing about Gelson Martins that I really like is one attack he'll be on the right, the next attack he'll be playing on the left, and after that he'll be playing through the center, and you never really know where Gelson is, and it shows how like his work rate. It shows the stamina that the kid has, and yeah, he today he played well. He got that assist, basically put it on a plate for Bas Dost. I think if I'm not mistaken, the free kick from the second minute where Bas Dost just roofed it, where he almost scored and we almost got the first goal in the second minute or something. It was another assist from Gelson, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you're right.
And so he had a solid game, and he created chances as well as played well defensively, and that's all you can ask for him. And I'm surprised I'm not giving it. You know what? Fuck it. He gets a 10 also, man. Like, fuck it.
I'm gonna give him a 9. I feel like he was solid player as well today. You know, I've given a lot of stick the last few games, but he has really stepped up, and you know that's what I've wanted for a long time. Hopefully, this Gelson stays. The Gelson of last season is back because he was very inconsistent. I feel in the last few games, but now I feel like even when it's like we say when Gelson plays well, it affects the team. Piccini plays well because if he can run off Gelson, Gelson can run off him. You know, it's really good how I think the team's chemistry is just fantastic at the moment, and it's due to these players playing so well. So for me, it's a 9 for Chelsea Martins. Last but certainly not least, we've got the big Dutch bastard himself, Bastos, and I'll start this one off. 10 out of 10, man of the match. You know, fantastic performance, always in the right place at the right time. You know, that's what we've wanted from Bastos. He's finally getting the service. So that's what we've pleaded with players like Gelson and Acuna and Bruno Cesar to give him the service. And now he's got it. We've seen the best Dost of old. Hopefully he can like I've said about all the players playing well. Hopefully he can continue this because this season as well, Bastos been inconsistent. But you know, he's my favourite player in this team for a reason. You know, Bastos just gets a 10 out of 10 for me. Steph, what would you give Bastos out of 10?
The same thing. I'm going to give him a 10 as well. He was the man of the match, not only because he scored 2 goals, but he was impeccable in winning all those balls up in the air. There's no one that could challenge him. And not only this game, even the other games before, he's been amazing. And today he just proved to everybody, if you cross me the ball, I will score. And they crossed him the ball. Gelson Martins gave him a good assist, and he scored. Bruno Fernandes from a corner kick gave him a good assist, and he scored. He's tall, so cross him the ball, but do it properly, and he will score. It's not because I hate when people say, "Oh, Bastos was in a crisis. He was in a bad form." No, he was not. It's just that Gelson Martins was not giving the assists, the amount of assists he was giving last year compared to this year. It's been quite less. And then Bruno Fernandes, he's a new player into the team. People forget that. So now he's basically gelling with Bastos, and then finally clicking in that department. So he will start scoring goals. Don't expect Bastos to dribble. That's not the kind of striker he is. But if you give him, good crosses, he will score like he did today. So I have no doubt. So I hope the lesson is learned, and against Pasto Ferreira, which is our next game away for the Liga NOS, I hope they give him good crosses. Then my man will score. That's it. He gets a 10 for me.
Danny, what would you give Bastos out of 10 today?
Yeah, he's also my man of the match. So I think it's only right I give him an 11 out of 10. 2 solid goals. He could have had probably 3 from that shot in the beginning, but his movement off the ball, like in the box, it's top notch. It's second to none, and much respect to this guy. He's been lights out ever since joining Sporting last year. And another transfer that I kind of criticized when it happened last year, especially for 10 mil. I didn't know how good he probably could be. I seen a few games of him at Wolfsburg, and it wasn't anything special, but I was wrong, and again, he's coming into form, and he's proving us wrong, which is good. Or proving us wrong. He's not proving anybody wrong. We all know his quality by now, actually. But another solid game. Whenever you get 2 goals, you have to have a great game. So yeah, 11 out of 10 for me.
Now we're going to move on to just the last 2, which is the manager tactics rating and the team rating in general. And I'll give this one to Steph first. So you give George's tactics out of 10.
His tactic was perfect. I'll give him a 10 out of 10. He nailed it. He's proven to us Portuguese and to the world, to the whole world, that as far as the tactics, he knows what he's doing. I mean, there's a reason why when we played against Barcelona, even though we lost 1-0, but we didn't lose 5-0 like Paris Saint-Germain. They won against Celtic 4-1 today, I believe. So
7-1.
7-1. That was the half. That was the halftime, I guess. The 4-1.
Yeah, it was 4-1 was probably halftime.
Yeah. So 7-1. So he's showing to the world that he knows how to coach a team, and a 10 out of 10. JJ, He just needs to learn how to rotate the team better. And I think because of all the injuries, the recent injuries, the 7 altogether, I think he learned it. Like today, when he pulled out Piccini and he put Stefan, I was like, okay, that's a good move because Piccini, you could see he was like exhausted. So use your resources, use your bench, use the players that you have. If you have 24 players, use them. For God's sake, just use them. So besides that, if he does this little adjustment, then we'll be in good shape for the remaining of the Liga NOS title and the Portuguese Cup and Liga Europa and the Taça da Liga.
Fair enough. Danny, what would you rate the tactics there out of 10?
Yeah, today Jorge Jesus gets a 10 as well. Spot on. The substitutions were spot on, like Steph said, to help out of our injuries. Tobias for Mathieu, Ristovski for Piccini, Matteo's just at the end to burn time. It was spot on. Just like in Greece, he had the perfect tactic to beat them down and to wear them down. And again, his tactics today made Olympiacos seem like they were a level below us, when really I think Olympiacos is a level similar to us. They're a similar type of team where they can do probably good things in Europa League, sort of like us. And but today they looked nowhere near us. They looked like a Famalicão or something. You know what I mean? So 10 out of 10 for Jorge Jesus.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with both of you. 10 out of 10. Everything clicked today. Every position clicked today. I gave Bruno Fernandes a 7, but that doesn't mean he was awful. I feel like everyone played well. Not one person played bad. Not one person I think, oh God, he needs to be brought off. Maybe Mateo because he looked tired, which I understand as well, which I think was a good sub. That being said, though, Tobias, man, when he comes on, to be honest, there were a few times today as soon as he got the ball and he gave it away. I'm just he needs to improve. I think maybe because of lack of game time, but Tobias needs to improve. So that's the only thing I was a bit suspect on. I would rather him bring on Paulinho or Petrovic to play in that position, but Tobias is a natural centre back, so that does make sense. But yeah, Jorge Jesus tactics gets a 10 from me.
I feel like Tobias comes on, or Tobias is still a part of this team just because Jorge Jesus is bored and wants some excitement in his life. Because that guy he's such a liability at times. It's kind of funny at the same time. The guy comes in and almost steps on Rui Patricio or almost sits on him and injures him. Like, I don't know what the hell's wrong with that guy. But anyways, I just want to put my 2 cents in about Tobias. He's somewhat funny, but I get nervous with him at the same time.
He had a solid game against Famalicão. He did, actually. I don't know if he's one of those players that when he starts from the get-go, he has a good performance, but when he comes off the bench, like Jonathan Silva, when he comes off the bench, he's a disaster. But when he starts from the get-go, he's pretty good. So maybe he's one of those players.
Maybe.
Could be.
Maybe. Last but not least, we've got the sporting team rating as a whole, and I'll give this one to Danny first. What would you rate the team's performance there out of 10?
I think you know the answer, guys. It's a 10 out of 10. Solid performance. It was well done. I couldn't be happier. The only downside was the one goal from Olympiacos, but you could argue that was offside. So I'm not really bothered by that. We maintained our composure. We maintained our dominance. We showed Olympiacos. We also showed Europe that we're a dominant force to be reckoned with. So yeah, 10 out of 10, man. We're solid.
Steph, what would you give the whole team out of 10?
Yeah, I feel the same way. 10 out of 10. The whole team was gelling. They were clicking. Exception for a couple things that we mentioned. The three of us. The beginning when Williams was he was out of place, missed a few passes, and Bruno Fernandes as well. But as the game progressed, then the whole team kicked it a couple notches, and we basically handled Olympiacos. They didn't have a chance against us. I have a feeling that if we kept on pressing the accelerator, we could have gotten a couple more goals. But 3-1 is good. It's $1.5 million into our savings account. Well, not Sporting savings account, not mine, of course.
That'd be great if we could
pá,
just get a part of that. It was being
tá
Sportingista.
calado, pá. I would be in Canada tonight, bro. Celebrating with you and shit. But
With the
anyway,
Canadian putas, eh?
yeah, shit. But anyway, it's this was a very important victory just because of the importance of qualifying for the Liga Europa, and still give us like a 10% of moving on from the group stage, which I hope so. I mean, me personally, I think it's better to go to the oitavos finais than going to Liga Europa. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, we might have a shot of winning the Liga Europa," but then if you look at all the teams that are being relegated from the Champions League to the Liga Europa, it's a lot of good teams. So let's make history. The best we ever gotten in the Champions League was the quarterfinals. So I would love to make the final four, the semifinals. So never know, never say never. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm going to give the team performance a 10 as well. The only thing I'm disappointed in that is we only scored 3, because I feel like we could have scored at least 6 when you look at how many chances we had today.
Indeed.
But that being said, the chemistry, like I said earlier, is just fantastic. Every player looks like they want to play. They all look like a good bunch of friends as well. They're not like just playing for themselves. They're playing for the team, playing for the fans. They know what they want. Like you say, we might not qualify for the Champions League, but in my eyes, that's not a failure, because we've been fantastic this campaign. We've tested Barcelona to the limits, Juventus to the limits. We've destroyed Olympiacos, you could say, even though the first game was 3-2. But I say we still destroyed them on 2 separate occasions. So this has not been a failure by any means. But we can look back and be like, well, that was a great Champions League campaign. We didn't get into the next stages, but we still played fantastically. So yeah. 10 out of 10, best performance I think I've seen in the Champions League for us this season.
Well, we didn't finish with 0 points. That's a fact.
Exactly. Ourselves and lose 5-0 to a bunch of farmers.
Just quickly before we end the episode, we've got 2 more things left to do, and that is the first one is prediction for the next Liga NOS game, which Steph mentioned was against Pashos away. Can we have this one fast? I'll start with Steph. What is your predictions for the next game?
Okay, I think it's going to be a tight game, because every time we go to Pashos, it's a smaller pitch. I foresee it to be either a 1-0 to us or a 2-1.
Okay, Danny, what do you think?
10's my favorite number, so 10-0. I'm kidding. I think, again, another tight game. We always have like a hangover from Europe, so I'm going to say a 2-0 win.
I'm going to go with 1-0. I agree with Steph there. And Steph, I believe you had just a few things about not the entire Sporting Universe roundup, but just a few games.
Yes, I do. Which it's worthy of mentioning them, because it's the accomplishment of these games were quite noticeable. So the Youth 19 Sporting, which basically it mimics the Champions League. So it's Group D, just like the A team, and they play the same teams: Barcelona, Juventus, and Olympiacos. So we finished. We still have a game left, but we don't even need that game. We already finished second place in our group. Just to give a quick recap, the first game we tied 2-2 against Olympiacos. The second game we lost at home against Barcelona. Then the third game we won against Juventus in Italy 4-1. And then again at home we won against Juventus 2-0. And today we tied 1-1 against Olympiacos, which that basically confirmed the second place. So now we move on to the first. The winners of the groups will go straight to the quarterfinals, and then the second places will play a playoff, and then whoever wins that playoff will go into the quarterfinals against those 8 teams. So that's a huge accomplishment for our youth team. It's the first time they ever done it. So, and I believe Porto Youth they also qualify, but Benfica didn't. They're out of the tournament. But that's even the A team. In futsal, there's a big tournament going on at the João Rocha Pavilion. It's for the elite round. Are you guys familiar with this or no?
No, I'm
Futsal.
not.
A little bit. I never watch a game, but I try to follow like here and there.
Okay, so you just have to follow our Twitter account. Kidding.
Claro.
But anyway, so Sporting is hosting one of the groups of the elite round, and the winner of that group, which we are in Group B, will go to the Final Four. Okay, so that's huge. Sporting won 3-2 today on the first game, and then they have two more games throughout this week. But the most important game was today, because today's opponent was the most difficult one. They ranked higher than the other two, so we got this game under control. We won, so we should win the group and we should move on to the Final Four, which is a huge deal. It's basically in comparison to the Champions League final. So last year we went to the final against Inter of Spain, and we lost badly against them in the final. But in futsal, you could lose by a lot quickly. But anyway, so we have a shot to go into the Final Four and then hopefully win that tournament, which is a prestigious tournament. Our handball team today won against Aguascalientes, 31-23 away. So we still in first place. The volleyball team won 2 in first place, and our ladies won against Studil 2-0, which is very, very important because Studil is ranked number 3 in our league, the Portuguese ladies league, and ranked number 2 is Braga. So now we have 5 points ahead of Braga because we went against Braga a couple of weeks ago. So if you keep on going this way, then we're looking at to see our ladies won 2 years in a row, which is a big deal. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you for that. That's the end of the episode today. Hope you all enjoyed. Thank you for tuning in, and we shall see you next time. Peace.
Viva Sporting.